Hey everybody, this is Doug with Artfully Rogue and welcome back. So in this video, I am going to be building an outdoor table that is 8 foot by 3 foot. And then right down the center, I'm going to have 3 separate compartments that you can put ice in for drinks. So without further ado, let's get started. So I laid out all of the boards onto my workbench so that I could get the measurements taken. These are the plastic tubs that I'm using for the ice trays. I picked those up at Home Depot, and I'm putting in 1/4-inch spacers so they have a little bit of wiggle room whenever I start to insert the tubs into the table. Putting all the pieces together, I'll kind of go over the outline of how all of these were cut here in just a moment. But as you can see, I'm putting spacers on both sides. That way they kind of fill those gaps. Okay, so a quick recap. So on the outsides, I've added 2 full length, which are 8 feet, pieces of 2 by 6. So there's a total of 4, 1, 2, and then 3, 4. And then I put the ice buckets in, which are 20 inches long by 5.5 inches wide. I filled in that gap with a couple of 13-inch cut 2 by 6s. I think I actually went maybe 12.5. And then to fill in the sides, I basically split a 2 by 6 in half. And then I've got divider blocks that go between the 3 ice trays that are about 11 inches, because you've got 5.5 by 5.5, and then duplicate on the other side. Now, because I want to try to keep this as clean as possible, I'm going to do pocket holes. So I'm going to lay out the pocket holes next. So in the video, you don't actually see me lay out the pocket holes. Basically, it was just me drawing all over the backside of this table. But I did pay attention to where the pocket holes are being drilled because I didn't want the screws to crash into each other from opposing sides. And as you can kind of see here, there were a lot of screws going a variety of different directions just because I had so many pieces around that ice trough area. I think I probably used something around 75 or 80 screws just in the underside of this table. A few times I kind of wondered if I was punching through the top surface, but it all worked out fine. Then what I did is I did the same thing with pocket screws on the 4x4 legs. I cut these to, I want to say 28 inches. That would give me a surface of say 29.5 tabletop. Then I did the same thing here. I put pocket holes into this side rail, which goes between the legs. So you got the long sides and you got the short sides that you can see kind of in the bottom left hand of the screen. This was the first time I've used a pocket hole jig. Man, I love this thing. It was just kind of fun. Going against grain was a little tricky sometimes because it tends to kind of rip through the wood, which is now why I took the opportunity to give the underside of the table a good sanding. Because when you're going cross grain with the pocket hole, it does tend to kind of rip up the wood a little bit. Adding this 1x4 on the edge of the ice trough, that way when they sit down into their holes, they rest on this 1x4. There's a variety of ways you can do this, and I've seen people make boxes and they have rails on them and whatnot. So I'm painting the underside of the table and then putting it all together. It's so much easier to stain when it's all in pieces than to have to kind of get into corners and underneath little pieces where you can see daylight of you know, I don't know, raw wood, whether you say. I just kind of like this shot. So there, my pocket wood shot. Okay, so now I'm going to put the drain into the tub. It's just a 1-inch hole saw bit, and what I realized, and you don't see here, is I had to kind of take my Dremel and open up that hole just a little bit. An inch and an eighth would have been perfect. I didn't have my truck that day. It was in the shop, and so I had to kind of go with what I had to work with there. And also what you don't see here, I had to talk to the client of whether having a plug or an actual valve, and they decided to go with a valve. I just picked up a couple of like brass hose bibs so that they could put those in there. Adding the Gunstock stain to the top and then doing a wipe on poly. So now I'm just cutting the inserts for the top of the table that will cover the actual ice troughs. So when they're not using the trays, they can put these inserts in and just use it as a regular table. One of the things that we talked about when I delivered the table was you could take these trays and you could plant flowers or do anything you want and kind of switch up the design there. So I'm just kind of punching a 1-inch hole here, routering the edge so it's a little bit softer, and then I'll get those stained and polyed, and yeah, then we'll get that finished up, get it delivered, and that's it. Hey, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Man, it's greatly appreciated. If you like what you saw, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, then go ahead and do that now. That would also be greatly appreciated. And if this is a video you like, give me some comments down below. Tell me what you like. Tell me how I can improve. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks again.